following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down, handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Buried, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
And it is a terrific Tuesday here at the Star in Frisco. Bye week for the Cowboys, but much to talk about as we get you started here after a big win over the Eagles on Sunday night, 37-10, and the Cowboys sitting pretty in first place in the NFC East. Would you say they're sitting pretty there, Mickey?
Sitting pretty? Well, precariously.
They're sitting pretty after winning.
Well,
this season would be very precarious if they had not won on Sunday.
They're up by one game.
They're up by one game, but are you seeing what's happening in Philadelphia right now? They're just going down the tubes.
Well,
that locker room is fractured.
Yeah. As we saw on Monday Night Football, though, this league is a week-to-week proposition.
Yeah.
You could be riding high like those New York Jets and then right back down to earth.
Does that just make you sick to your stomach?
Could you sit through that whole thing, Mickey, last night? A 33-0 New England win. By the way, the Patriots now have, of their 7 wins, 3 of them they've scored 33 points in. That's got to be the first time in NFL history that a team has scored 33 points in 3 games in a season. That aside, Mickey.
What scumbags did they beat?
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean,
scumbags. Gosh.
Well, it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same.
I don't know if that's the definition, the proper definition.
Mickey, it's kind of the same schedule the Cowboys have played.
I know, except for one game that they lost, that they beat. I can't even say it. He threw 4 interceptions. Sam Darnold, and he finished with a 3.6 quarterback rating.
How did he get to 3.6?
Maybe
he also lost a fumble, too.
Maybe it was the 11 completions out of 32 attempts.
Does that loss make you sick, Brian? Watching it
should
back
make
last
them
night?
sick.
I think that what's going to happen in the way the season, we're all veterans of this. They're probably going to win a game they probably are not supposed to win. You know, you lose a game you probably shouldn't have won. I
agree, and they were missing a lot of guys in that game.
Yeah,
too.
We're calling it right now.
Yeah, I've seen New England go out and lay a big egg before. I mean, they haven't this season, of course. They're 7-0. I think the thing that makes New England unique is how they're able to adapt to who they are and who you are every week. You know,
like the Super Bowl last year.
You know, Sam Darnold talked about, well, the Cowboys are what they are. They play single high. You kind of understand what they are. And then we start to hear about the stories of seeing ghosts and things like that. You know, and I think that in the NFL, you have to be able to adapt to who you are and then who the other team, who your opponent is. I don't think the Cowboys adapted to themselves very well in the Jets game for all the injuries they had. You know, we've been talking about that, hey, need this guy to play well, need this guy to play well, need this guy to play well. And, you know, I feel like, though, that really was the downfall. In this season, I mean, I was asked about this on Austin Radio this morning. And it's like, what do you make of all these games? What have you learned from each game? And I felt like I learned, maybe on the mailbag too, the question was, what did I learn about this team?
Or who is this team?
Who is this team? Yeah. And I learned that they could play defense for 60 minutes against the Saints. I learned they could turn the ball over horribly against the Packers, you know. And I learned that if their good players don't play well, they could lose against an inferior team. Or they can go out and find a way to put everything completely together, offensively, defensively, and special teams, manage the game, manage the clock, and get an impressive win against a division rival. So I see what the Patriots have done for so many years and how they operate, and I'm surprised that more teams don't try to do that. And I'm not talking about the deflating of footballs or spying on an opponent or whatever edge you need. I'm surprised that more people haven't tried.
You're talking strategically, from week to week?
Strategically, week to week, game planning week to week. They give up a second-round pick for a slot wide receiver. That, just here, you feel like, man, they've got a roster that's set. They've got a great defense. They've got all this stuff, and but it's they did to the New York Jets what the Cowboys should have done, but the Cowboys didn't have their players, and they didn't play well enough. Their good players did not play well enough for them to win that game. So I understand it. I understand because, like I say, we're going to be sitting here one day on the show, and we're going to be talking about a victory we didn't think they were going to get, that they're going to get. And
what Brian is alluding to there with the Patriots in the aftermath of their 33-0 win last night, they have worked a trade with the Atlanta Falcons, acquiring Mohamed Sanu.
Sanu, he got a big slot receiver now.
And they gave up a second-round draft pick for him.
Right.
So on the heels of that, they're not satisfied. I went and looked at their roster.
Yeah.
And you know how many wide receivers veteran wide. I mean, these are guys who have NFL playing experience, not some college free agent coming in.
Yeah.
Since the start of training camp, how many wide receivers they have had on their roster? It's 13.
Yeah.
And they've had 11 tight ends.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just running through them. Just Demaryius Thomas, no, you go play for the Jets.
Yeah.
All these guys, they're just running through, trying to come up with
Antonio
a combination.
Antonio Brown
is another one.
With all his headache, they said, hey, we'll pay you, we'll do what we have to do, and I know. I mean, to me, it's a model because of what you've seen consistently. But I think we focus on this team. We focus on what they need to do, and it's been so wildly inconsistent this first half of the season that I think it's hard to say. And I wrote down this thing I wanted to ask you guys. Give me something that I can hang my hat on for the second half of this season. Give me something. Can you tell me something that, is wildly as inconsistent as they be, but give me something I can hang my hat on that I know that the second half I can live with. Is there something out there that you guys have thought about that, as you kind of look back at this team and?
The way the offensive line played in this last game, I think, is what they're capable of week to week. And with the exception of probably the Saints game, when they've had all their pieces, all those guys up front, I still feel really good about what they can do controlling the line of scrimmage. And Jerry said it on the radio this morning. That's probably the best game he's seen Lyle Collins play as a Cowboy. And I expect him to just get better and better. They've talked about that. Jason Garrett's talked about how he's just kind of grown in that role at tackle. So I still think, and that's the identity of this team, and I think it's still there moving forward. Although they're going to face some good defenses going down the stretch, no question about that.
What are you thinking, Mickey? What can you hang your hat on?
It's a good question because Brian's right. They've won games and they've lost games in different ways. So it's hard.
Yeah, but how did they?
It's hard to look at it and draw trends to,
Why did they lose the game to the Jets? Because Sam Darnold scored 24 points on them.
Yeah.
There were no turnovers.
Yeah.
Right? If you make a field goal, you scored 25 points against them, which should have been enough to win.
But they did a better job against the run in that game. And they didn't do a good job against the Packers. You can't say it's the same every week.
Well, it was.
It's not. They lost in different ways.
The quarterback beat you.
Exactly.
And he ended up with a 3.6 quarterback rating.
And Aaron Jones beat you the week before.
The guy was seeing ghosts.
That's the difference, that they put it together last week.
Aaron Rodgers beat you. Believe me.
And keep in mind that the Jets last week were in the same boat with their offensive line, in a worse boat than what the Cowboys were the week before.
Yeah.
They didn't have their left tackle last night. Their center went out halfway through the game, and they're playing with a rookie playing at right tackle, going up against the New England Patriots and that defense.
And then what did they do?
You think the quarterback was seeing ghosts?
What was the difference,
linemen?
though? They blitzed them, right?
Yep.
They put pressure on them.
They took advantage of the mismatch that they had.
Exactly.
Not to talk Pats, but sorry, Brian.
No, go ahead.
The other thing that we talk about Tom Brady, but there was a stat from what I watched last night. They have 18 picks this season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the most since
the turnovers have been incredible.
The 96 Packers that you were part of that organization.
Yeah.
I mean, you see what happens with this team too. If you can get some takeaways, and you can't ask for 4 a game probably, but it makes such a huge difference in deciding games.
And I don't know how many the Saints had in their Super Bowl season in 09, but they had a bunch of
they had like 30-something takeaways.
Yeah. Right.
It's incredible.
And the Patriots are doing the same thing. And so Patriots have what they have on offense, and then they're going to do that on defense too. And again, 6 of their 7 wins are against teams that have combined for about 7 wins all year.
Can I circle back with you, Mickey, on the Jets game? I tried to pin it more on guys, they're good players not stepping up. The guys, the receivers, and and then
the receivers
and the quarterback. But
you had 2 of them missing.
Yeah, no, but I meant Gallup.
Yeah.
I meant Gallup.
Oh,
in
okay.
That way.
Well, Gallup, yeah.
And so, but then is this? But just listening to you talk, did they not game plan defensively the right way to defend this guy?
All I know is they had a quarterback in his second year that hadn't played in a month.
Right.
And when you look at it, you got to put pressure on him. Mm-hmm. You got to go after him. Mm-hmm. And they didn't do that.
Right.
They basically rushed with 4 guys the majority of the game, and they weren't getting there.
Right.
And they allowed him to complete 23 of 32 passes for 338 yards.
Right.
He had a quarterback rating of 113.8.
Right.
He was 3.6.
All right. So with Mickey's thought, then they've lost games all different ways now. They've lost it with their inability to score a touchdown against or kick a field goal against the Saints.
Yeah.
The
Packers
kicked a field goal against the Jets too when it came down to it, right?
But if you think about, I wasn't going to pin the loss, the Jet loss on the coaches, but I think Mickey makes a fair point. If you don't go after him and cause problems, then you get what you deserve.
They really didn't blitz in that game.
No. So if you're buying into Mickey's thought, which is not wrong. I was thinking, they had some guys that didn't play well enough. Those backup guys that we kind of thought, they need these guys to play better. They needed maybe Cam Fleming needed to play better. And Mickey's been kind of talking about the whole thing with Cam Fleming. He's not good enough. He's not good enough. So maybe me thinking, well, Cam Fleming's got to play better. Well, maybe he's not capable of playing better. But these coaches got to feel like that they got to be capable of coming up with a game plan that can affect quarterbacks. That can affect a second-year quarterback that's coming off being gone for 3 weeks. Yeah. So maybe there's more problems than that. Maybe there's more problems than I'm not saying. The Philadelphia win was great because I felt like they put everything together.
Yep.
But the fact, like I'm saying, I'm trying to find something that I can hang my hat on the second half, and I don't know what it is.
There's not one thing that you can point to that you feel like.
Well, Mickey's now.
I've got one.
Mickey's now. Well, excuse me, but you've opened it up to me to think. Well, can you hang your hat on these coaches?
Oh yeah.
Can you rely on them to come up with a plan like they did against the Philadelphia Eagles every week? Is this something, or was that something just a one-time thing?
You were somewhat hamstrung with your cornerbacks in the Jets game.
Sure.
But offensively, despite their shortcomings, they had 400 yards total offense.
Yeah.
And they could have scored 25 points. That should have been enough. And it wasn't. And when you see that guy play the way he did last night, oh my God. And you know what? And those half of those interceptions weren't great defensive plays.
No.
He was just chucking it up.
Yeah.
He did chuck it up a few times.
So you never did enough to make him chuck it up.
Yeah.
He was way too comfortable.
You let him stand on the goal line and throw a
50-yard
pass for a 92-yard touchdown.
They acknowledged it. They hit him twice, I think.
Yeah.
It just wasn't enough
But you
pressure.
saw, we think a pretty good quarterback in Carson Wentz get knocked around pretty good.
And they did bring pressure. Didn't they? They kind of went after him a few times, and the rush got there.
Jalen blitzed some, and they used him as an extra rusher at times too. Yeah. They
affected the game with their pressure. Can we hang our hat on that?
I think they're capable of it.
Yeah.
Now, I guess it comes down to you trust your cornerbacks. Because if you're going to blitz, you're leaving them in single coverage.
I trust Jordan Lewis a lot more than I trust Anthony Brown. I'm just going to – I don't – maybe I'm not telling the world out there something that they already don't know. But there's to me, Anthony Brown does not just get his job back.
You think Jordan's earned more snaps?
I think Jordan's earned more snaps. Absolutely, I do. I think the way he plays, the toughness he brings out there, the way he competes, They need somebody with his attitude out there playing in that secondary. Byron Jones, Awuzie, fine, but make sure that nickel has got to be a competitive SOB out there. He's got to be a guy because they're going to carry you all over the field. Get a guy out there that's going to make plays. Give me that guy.
I think the coaches agree with you.
You think so?
I think you could see it in Jason yesterday in the press conference when he asked about Jordan Lewis.
But he always talks well about his players, Bill.
No. You could see his eyes light up about him.
Okay. Okay. Well, I hope you're right.
And then Jerry last week, he's the first guy he mentioned. That was before this past game.
Yeah.
He was talking about Jordan Lewis.
Chris Richard, and I know Richard likes the taller corners. He said last week the guy's a closer. There's not been one time he hasn't maximized his opportunities. So at some point, does it become more consistent with the snaps?
Yeah. How about close? How about give me something I can hang my hat on, Jordan Lewis. I know he's going to go out there and compete. And they're going to need it. You're going to need it. Some of these games, you got quarterbacks coming up that are going to throw it. That guy in Minnesota's throwing it well. The guy in Detroit, he's over 40,000 yards for a career. He's going to throw it.
My guy I'm hanging my hat on is Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, Rob was talking about the line. I think the line is kind of tied in with Elliott.
I'll throw in Amari Cooper too when he's healthy. My goodness, the routes, the consistency. He's outstanding.
And Zeke, he takes that passing game to another level. With his game breaker ability. And he's the main reason that Dax, I don't know what his yards per attempt are right now, but 2 weeks ago
he was over 8 in that game the other day.
Yeah, and so he's around 9.
Yeah.
He's around tops in the league, up there with Patrick Mahomes. But it's establishing that run and being committed to the run, and with the way Zeke is running himself, how hard he's running.
Are we too old school? Me, you, Bill, too old school about having to run the football? Or the having to have that? Are we? I get in an argument with the guys all the time about throwing the football. I do, and I'm with you. I believe. I always say this in the show: when Dak Prescott's stats are 21 of 27 for 240 yards, 250 yards, that interception was him being a little reckless on the play, which I don't think he was. I think he knew what he was doing. But are we? Everybody's out there saying, "Oh, well, you can't. You should throw the ball all the time." I want to run the football. I want to run the football.
Well, I think it's balance more than anything.
Yeah, it's balance. Absolutely, it's balance. But why do people argue with you about that?
I don't know. But you know what? Because, and I've gotten this too on Twitter and stuff, the stat guys will tell you, well, just run the play action regardless of if the run game's working and all that stuff. I'm sorry, from my own eyes watching football my whole life, when you've got a running game that's cooking, it makes the rest of everything else work better. It does. And he's also your best player. He's your best player. He set, like to Bill's point, he set the as much as the defensive guy set the tone.
Yeah.
He did too, lowering his shoulder and knocking a guy to the ground on that first drive. He's still the engine for this thing, for me.
Look,
Me too.
we left training camp thinking this was a very talented team.
Sure.
And they went 3 games with weird stuff happening. It's still a very talented team. I don't think we were wrong on what we saw with our own eyes. And so I just think if they play clean football and don't have weird things happen in the middle of a game the way they did against Philadelphia, they're very good. And they can play. I know the schedule's good, right?
Yeah.
I know it's tough, but they're good. They just got to play that way. You can't turn the ball over. You can't get BS calls and think, okay, well, we're good enough to make up for that stuff. They're not.
Right.
But they're good enough to win if they play clean football.
I think Jason spoke to that in the press conference. We've talked about how, and Dak said last week, makeable plays. We got to make these plays, stop getting in our own way. Jason said he'll put plays up on the board to these guys and just say, look, that's us. That's us. We've done it before. Look, these high-level type plays. Go out and do it again and again and again and again, all that stuff. It's about being who you are. And sometimes teams force you to not be who you are too. I think, the Saints beat them up front. You have to give other teams credit. It's not constantly, it's just about us why we lost the game.
Yeah.
But I think they're like Mickey said, there's been chunks of yardage in some of these losses where it's like, now how did they only score that many points? So yeah, they've left stuff on the field, no doubt.
Talking about offensive approach, how did the Saints beat the Cowboys?
They didn't make any mistakes, and they were really good up front defensively, like Rob said.
Yeah,
and I felt like they
running the ball. They matched the Cowboys running the ball.
Sure.
I mean,
they protected their quarterback. He didn't make any huge errors. Even he tried to give you the game at the end, though, with that sack he took. But it was the very end. Yeah,
5 straight games playing that way, basically.
Yeah, Carolina basically the same thing too. These teams that are finding a way to kind of protect their quarterback, but allow them to grow a little bit along the road.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to win any game with any quarterback if you only give up 10 points.
Yeah.
That's why if you're looking at this thing right now, you can argue the Patriots or you could argue the Saints is the best team in the league right now because of what they've done without a Hall of Fame quarterback and Kamara last week. I mean, the Cowboys lost a close game, to my opinion, the best team in the NFC right now. Right now. We'll see what happens and see how these teams progress, And the Cowboys, I don't think
you're not
peaked
buying
yet.
Green Bay.
They're up there, and their defense has been good too. But I'm just so impressed with what the Saints have done without Breeze. I mean, it's just it's tremendous.
Yeah, to win at Seattle, win against the Cowboys, go to Chicago and win.
Yeah, but I'm with Mickey too. I think the Cowboys still have another level they can get. I mean, the other night was proof of what they can be if they put it together.
I mean, if you look at the rest of the schedule, and I know you said they'll win a game they shouldn't.
Yeah,
I only see one they shouldn't.
New England.
Yeah. At New England. I mean, should they be good enough to go to Chicago and win? Can you beat Minnesota at home?
Yeah. You might be a little bit. Yeah, your team ought to be able to travel if it turns into an ugly, nasty game.
You never know.
The problem is there's a string of all of those games
together.
Oh no, yeah. You're about to play an SEC schedule. Is what you're going to about to do.
Detroit.
Yeah.
At New England, then you got to play a short week on Thanksgiving, Buffalo, and then you got to go to Chicago.
Then you come back and play the Rams, and then you go at Philadelphia.
Right. Yeah. And that was the stretch there that was scary because you had to. That's the only not.
Well, you got Minnesota prior to that. Yeah.
Home away, and then all of a sudden you're away, way short and away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then these games are going to come fast and furious when they get back here, as it does every November around here. All right, we continue with more Talking Cowboys in a moment.
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not to...
Right above the subway!
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus.
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store and learn how to buy one smartphone and get a second one on us. Based on GWS 1 score, September 2018.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel, Will McClay, and, of course, with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Work the Cowboys way and channel the winning business tradition of the Dallas Cowboys and the Jones family at Formation. This dynamic workspace provides an elevated work experience on the Star's aspirational campus with exclusive membership options available to meet varying needs. Choose from open workspaces, dedicated desks, and private offices to leverage our home field advantage for your individual business success. Limited memberships are available now, so apply today at formationatthestar.com.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Talking Cowboys continues here on a Tuesday at the Star in Frisco. Join us November 9th on Tostitos Championship Plaza for the Salute to Service Plaza Party. Enjoy live entertainment, military ceremonies, Dallas Cowboys alumni autographs, and more. After the event festivities, the Star will be hosting the top 2 Madden players as they face off in the EA Sports Madden NFL 20 Club Championship presented by Spire.
Mick, how'd you finish in that tournament?
Are they doing that on the field outdoors?
It says on Tostitos Championship Plaza.
Oh, my.
They might be using the big screen.
Yep.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I bet they are.
Yeah. A little complexity type action.
Salute to service, November 9th.
There you go.
What are we? I guess we're here that weekend?
November, let's see. I don't have a
That's the
schedule in front of me.
the Minnesota game, right?
Yeah, it should be Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure is.
Because Giants is a Monday night game. You got the date on the Giants game?
Is that like the 4th?
November.
That would be
3rd.
the 4th.
Third?
The 4th. And
it's the 4th. It's a
so
Monday
that is
night,
Saturday, November 9th, is that Tostitos Championship Plaza Salute to Service, which is the day before the Sunday night game against Minnesota, which is the next home game.
So they got to play, get back at 4:30 in the morning on Tuesday and play Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's a short week.
But it's a night game. Give you a little time.
Which gets back to these games are going to come fast and furious.
Yes,
they are.
So
is there a movie like that, Fast and Furious?
You got
there's many like that.
Few of them.
You've got a Monday game at the Giants, home against Minnesota, at Detroit, at New England, Thanksgiving, Buffalo, and then on Thursday after that. So you've got 6 games between November 4th and December 5th.
Brian always says we're going to wake up and it's going to be Thanksgiving morning.
Yep. That's the way it works
And
around here.
if you're going to end that on, it's 5 games in 25 days.
There you go.
Leading up to Thanksgiving.
5 and 25.
5 and 25.
And a normal spread would be 5 and 35?
I guess, yeah. Something like that.
Well, 7 times 5 is 35.
There you go.
Yeah.
They're used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Thanksgiving
every
stretch
year.
every
That's
year.
Right.
Yep.
Now, I guess one of the different, you got 3 road games in there. So,
Yeah.
and then, 3 out of 4 from Sunday, November 17th to Thursday, December 5th are on the road at Detroit, at New England, home Buffalo, at Chicago.
How many days is that?
Tough stretch there. You're going to confuse me because we're dealing with the change in the month there.
You
Mickey.
lost when we came back from
So
break.
that's 13 plus 5. That's 4 games in 18 days.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, when we're talking about in fact, right now, we've already played college season.
Sure.
Okay? We're 11 games into this thing now, basically a college season. And if this team is going to go where they want to go,
yes,
which is to Miami in
Super Bowl
February.
Bill.
Yep.
Right.
The road
That's
to
right.
Super Bowl started again.
That's right. There's 13. Well, there's 12 or 13 games left. Probably 13.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's with your 4-3 start. It's probably 13 games till then. So you got a whole college season to go. Who does the offense or the defense need to see the most improvement coming forward in the next 13 games?
Which needs the most improvement?
Yeah. Which is the calling card?
Defense.
Which is going to, if one is going to be over the other, that's going to get them there.
To me, they've got to play better defensively. I think, Mickey brought up about what happened with the Jets and the lack of pressure, and you saw pressure last week. Can they sustain the pressure? Can they continue to do things in the secondary? Can they continue to create turnovers? I think that was something, that you wish you could say, I'd love to hang my hat on more turnovers every week, but I don't think you can do that. But I think this defense, I am more nervous about this defense than I am the offense, especially with what Rob said, the offensive line, their health. Hopefully things will work out there. But I think the quarterback's playing fine, the running back's fine. They've got so many weapons they can put up points. If they don't hurt themselves with turnovers and penalties, they're just fine there. It's defensively that I worry about people making plays on them.
And where has that changed from the beginning of the season for you?
Well, again, I've seen them play 60 minutes with the Saints and hang in there, deserve to win that game. And then I've seen other things happen. They got run on against the Packers a little bit. And then they let a quarterback coming off of a sickness beat them. Those are things that bother you. You just don't see any real consistency there. We went from last week. Remember, it was like, the run defense has got to get better. Oh, then we went from run defense to the pass rush has to be better. Well, the pass rush got a little bit better. But I don't know if the consistency. I think there's more consistency on offense than there is on defense, and that's what makes me nervous about the second half of the season.
I mean, if you look at it, 2 of the 3 losses They gave up 58 points.
Yeah.
Okay, they scored 24 against Green Bay. Sometimes 24's got to be enough to win. Right? The Jets, 22, they would have had 23. They could have had 26. But you gave up 24 to the Jets.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't get over that.
You can't get over that passer rating last night.
You know what? You asked me, did you watch the entire game? No, I gave up because I could see it was 26-0 or whatever it was at that one point. And it was like, golly.
Well, hopefully they do. Like I said, they get a win they're probably not supposed to get. It's one of those. Again, Mickey said he feels like they could go through to New England. Who knows? If you kind of got things humming along and offensively, I think to beat the Patriots, you're going to have to be more. In this, Captain Obvious here, but I think the teams that have given them problems in the past have just come into the game and been more physical than them. They have been more physical with their receivers. They've run the football on them. They've affected Tom Brady in the way he's thrown the football. So yeah, it's tough to win games up there, but you just have to be when you play them. They play a different style. They're going to adapt to you, like I said, but you have to be a lot more physical than they are to win that game. And we've seen it when the Giants beat them in Super Bowls. It was what happened. The Giants' front seven got after them.
Didn't have to blitz.
Brady had grass stains. You looked at the back of his uniform. He had grass stains on it. When you affect him, you affect the way that they play. And so maybe that's the game that all of a sudden you kind of put everything together for one weekend, and it just all works out for you.
And to your point about this defense, they were super physical the other night.
Yeah.
From the jump, you know, the forced turnovers early on.
They got after the Eagles' offensive line, who I think is a pretty good offensive line.
Yeah, good offensive line, and
and it wasn't them just taking advantage of the left tackle either.
No,
I mean, they did.
No.
Quinn
they
did have success.
They took advantage of the right tackle.
Right.
They did. Lane Johnson had a poor game.
Leighton Vander Esch getting in the backfield and making plays.
Tackles for losses. We talked about
plays
that.
We talked about. I mean, that was very much like we saw this defense pretty consistently last year play. And that again, that kind of what Mickey said. Like we've seen it. We know what they can be. That's the level they can get to. And if they play at that level, they really can hang with anybody in this league. I truly believe that. But it's been about consistency so far this year on multiple sides of the ball.
I mean, don't you think this offense can score on anybody?
I do.
I really do. When they're healthy, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you saw Tyrant Smith out there probably at 80% playing the game. And, he Lyle Collins it's one of those, it reminded me of the Willis Reed game, here's a guy with a big old huge brace on going out there and playing. I know Willis Reed didn't finish the game against the Knicks that time, but I mean, you get my idea. He's out there playing hurt.
He did.
He's out there, and sometimes these guys when they're hurt, they go out there and play at an even higher level. And I think that's to me where this team is capable of playing. And I hate saying that because I think you could see it every week. I think you could see them play the type of game. Now, maybe the Philadelphia Eagles are trash, But I'm evaluating Fletcher Cox. Does he look the same? No. But you know what? Zach Martin and Connor Williams and Travis Frederick did a hell of a job of blocking the inside. Okay, well, how about Brandon Graham? Well, I think Brandon Graham's a pretty damn good player. Well, Lyle Collins just eliminated him completely from this game. I feel like, though, that tight end's a pretty good, got a couple of good tight ends. Tight ends didn't kill him in this football game. They're capable of doing this. But this defense, like I said, the word consistency keeps popping into my head because you see that. And just when you want to say, oh, man, they got this pass rush going again. Vander Esch with a tackle for loss. Jalen Smith looks good.
They're howling.
They're doing great. Then all of a sudden they go out there and they play a game like they did against the Jets where they're giving up big plays and chunk plays and explosive plays, and they're losing a football game.
And then the fans are howling.
Yeah.
They're always howling. Although the mailbag has been a little less full this week.
Well,
there's less to complain about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's the way it works.
Am I wrong though?
No,
as far
defense.
I mean, the kickers kind of said, "Shut the hell up, Broadus. We don't need to replace me." I mean, I still maybe it's
just don't get so close.
Yeah,
that's the
63 yards. Think about that.
Tom Dempsey yardage.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? And I had this question, and I went back and looked because somebody was worried about, well, what if he comes up short? Who's gonna tackled the returner.
Who's the designated tackler on that
The
unit?
only offensive guy, a non-lineman out there was Witten, the holder, and the kicker.
Yeah.
But here's what I noticed, and tell me if this happens because I don't think I've seen it before. On the kick, 6 of those offensive linemen were sprinting downfield.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were sprinting.
Mickey's right.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it was one of those things where obviously Keith O'Quinn and them had told the group, okay, listen, we're going to try this, but you guys have got to cover and you got to fan out.
Can't have an Auburn, Alabama.
Yeah, one
finish.
hand grenade can't get you all. You got to be fanned out there and tackling and hope you can make the play. Mickey's right though. They were all in the sprint to try and make sure that thing got home.
It looked like the charge of the heavy brigade, lumbering downfield.
I still don't understand why they didn't just all come up with an all-out block on that.
Teams need to figure that out, that this guy can make kicks from 60-something yards. You might want to rush him a little bit.
3 of them now?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back, and we'll explore what the Cowboys need to accomplish this week leading up to the Giants game next week and the trade deadline a week from today. When Talkin Cowboys continues in a moment.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
It's time for Tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup, and now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yup, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper Soft Coolers at OtterBox.com.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine a surging river of ice-cold Dr. Pepper, roaring with carbonated mists of desire. You're dangling above it, upside down, like a fishing lure in the wind. 23 flavors tickle your nose, but the river is too far away to taste. Dr. Pepper calls to you. You.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
How about a little goodwill towards men? Go to Jack Black just in time for a little pre-holiday shopping. Our complete guide to holiday cheer for all the Jack Black men in your life. And the one I think you ought to keep an eye on is the Balm Squad. It's always there to rescue you. 3 intense therapy lip balms, flavors with mint and shea butter, along with Asian pear and black cherry, just for broadest. Shop now at getjackblack.com. Who writes this stuff?
You do.
Yeah.
No, it's here.
It's set just for Broadus and the marketing materials?
Yes.
No, that's for Mick shots right there.
Well, you could talk to Mickey.
Natural mint and shea butter with Asian pear and black cherry.
I'm all about that, Mick. You know me.
All right. Join us at another official Dallas Cowboys watch party presented by AT&T on Sunday, November 24th. Enjoy a festive game day atmosphere on Tostitos Championship Plaza at the Star in Frisco as the Dallas Cowboys defeat the New England Patriots.
There you go. That's the game.
Admission
There you
and
go.
parking are free.
There you
Visit
go.
thestarinfrisco.com for details. Brian Broaddus has already called that. He called his shot. He said that the Cowboys are going to win a game we don't expect them to win,
There you
or
go.
people don't expect them
There you
to
go.
win. Mickey decided that's the only game on the schedule that
I was
the
kind of thinking.
Cowboys.
I was thinking a
would
cold
not
day in
be.
Chicago, maybe, but okay.
So we're calling it. So
Preordained.
there it is, the Dallas Cowboys watch party to watch the Cowboys beat the Patriots and
See, it
ruin their
says that
perfect
right
season.
there.
Come out, and have those dads throw those 9 routes to those 5-year-olds and bounce the ball right off the back of me and Lindsay. Come on out.
There you go.
God.
Would you rather the Cowboys win there or beat them in the Super Bowl, though?
Oh,
That's my
Super
call.
Bowl Bill, I
There
think,
you go.
you'd want the Super Bowl win.
Bill. Maybe if you don't win
That
there,
could be your Super Bowl preview right there.
you might not get there.
Since Kansas City lost Patrick Mahomes,
He'll be back.
he will be back. Yep.
Quicker than ever.
Yes, he will. All right. Joshua Crisp on Twitter says, "Love the show, gentlemen.
Thank you.
My question is, do you see the Cowboys make any trades or moves in this bye week? Thanks."
You got what, 10 days?
Oh, you got a week,
You got 1
before
week.
the trade deadline, next Tuesday, 3 o'clock.
I would try and trade Anthony Brown for something, me personally. If he's not going to be here next year, and if you feel good about, and I know this goes against what Mickey says because you need all these corners, and Mickey's not wrong about that. But if in fact it helps Jordan Lewis get to play more, I would think about it. But I don't think that Chris Richard would do that. But maybe you could go player for player. Maybe one of these teams have given up on that second half of the season.
But a team that's given up on the second half isn't looking for an Anthony Brown.
No,
in
but I
last
mean,
year's
if
contract.
I'm trying to think of player for player without having to give
up a pick,
without giving up a pick. But I think there's also there's a risk that you almost have to take, a gamble to get a quality player. You have to give up something of quality. And if you're the Cowboys, maybe you feel like, well, if we could get this thing turned around. It's 4-3, win the division. Maybe your picks in the late 20s. Like last year, that when they made that Amari Cooper trade, that thing was in the teens. That thing was in the top 10 at one time, and then it ended up being 27. And there's no wide receiver on the board in that draft last year that was better than Amari Cooper.
Yeah, Coach Gruden probably thought he was getting a higher pick at the time.
Yeah. I think he got his running back out of that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I think he got his running back for the kid from Alabama. But
what can I get for a 4th or a 5th?
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it might even take a 3rd, but I mean, how
about a backup 3 technique?
Because Stephen Jones has been asked about this, and I think he said something like on the fan, they don't foresee like a sell the farm type deal, like a Cooper, which that one, to me, that's a generational type trade because that was an unusual circumstance. Coach Gruden in Oakland, they're starting over. That doesn't really present itself too often. They don't, and this team doesn't love parting with first-round draft picks. So
no, they don't. But
the thing with
but look what it did though to help your team.
It was incredible. It's been incredible.
It turned your team around. It turned your quarterback around. You helped your quarterback immensely with that trade. But it's so hard now, especially if you're trading for quality players. What Jacksonville got for Ramsey makes it so hard. If you said, "Oh, hey, well." And I'm just throwing a name out there. If you went up to the Jets and asked them for Jamal Adams, we'd heard some whispers about, this and that. But now with someone saying, well, we got 2 1s and a 3 or 2 runs and a 4.
That's a sell the farm kind of.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those things where it makes it hard for a team if they want to give up a quality player. Well, okay, let's talk about this then. And we got the draft show tomorrow at 3, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Tom Siskowski's our new co-host on that.
Oh,
by the
wow,
way.
that'd be great.
So
about time somebody got him working again.
Well, I was about to say about some time to get them made the show better is what I thought you were going to say.
No.
But is there a position? Mickey threw out there the 3 technique. Is that the best we can do? You think the 3 technique?
Little extra beef inside.
Yeah, I don't disagree with him on that.
And and Malik Collins had his probably best game.
Yeah, and his contract's up too.
But
next year,
I'm looking at positions where what if you lose a guy
And well, then
how important a position is, and where you are setting
How
yourself
about your
up.
offensive tackle, Mickey?
I was just going to say it.
Yeah.
Tackle.
I didn't want to interrupt Bill.
Yeah,
Well,
like we're doing now.
Right. But what got me thinking about it was Quinn's rib injury the other day, which turns out it's not serious.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's
how about
serious.
an edge rusher?
Yeah.
An extra one that you can who's playing, because you're rotating those guys anyway.
Right.
I mean, you've lost Tyrone Crawford, who's going to be an essential part of this team, who could play inside or outside on the defensive line. I'm looking for someone to replace Tyrone Crawford, basically.
That's Hyder right now. Hyder's the guy that can play any position
Okay,
for you on the line. He's done a nice job.
But the idea was we're going to have Kerry Hyder and Tyrone Crawford, so we still need to
another
replace
guy.
Crawford.
Okay.
I like Mickey's 3 technique, though. I do. Something inside. I like more at tackle, but either tackle, offensive tackle or defensive tackle.
All right, that's the homework assignment for tomorrow.
Let's
We're
get
going
them.
to come
What's
up
that?
with players to acquire in the next week.
We'll talk about the draft show, too.
There you go. All right, talk to you tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this,